Attaining fretboard knowledge is like attaining any sort of knowledge. It's an active learning cycle. You identify a delta of information that you don't have. Here's a bunch, right? Oh, I don't know how that works, or I don't know the thing, or the whatever it is. And you find some resources to get the knowledge. You apply the knowledge. It exposes another delta, right? Another space, another gap to fill with more knowledge. But it's an active cycle, right? One of the most effective methods to gain new knowledge is to use something you already know really, really well and look at it from a different point of view. Welcome back to the channel. My name's Chris. Today we're going to divide the pentatonic scale into 4-note boxes. And we're going to use those boxes to explore the fretboard. So we're using something we already know, an architecture we're already very, very familiar with. We're going to break it up into small pieces, and we're going to use those pieces to discover some new things about the fretboard. This is that knowledge cycle, and using that sort of familiar knowledge to attach something new. And here's why we're doing it this way. You can always study something, you could download something, watch a video, do something, blah, 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 study whatever. But this method to gain new knowledge using old information has two benefits. One is obviously you get the new information. But the second benefit is that whenever you attach information to some new information, to something you already know, it's much more likely to stick. Okay, this is not a very complex lesson. We're just going to zoom right in and I'll show you how it works. Okay, we're just going to divide the pentatonic scale into 4-note chunks. There it is, our A minor pentatonic scale. Now you've probably seen something like this before, but let me just dig in a little bit here at the beginning. The pentatonic scale is largely viewed as 2 notes per string. There's 2 on this string, 2 on this string, etc. So these 4-note chunks are going to take place, they're going to be found on sets of 2 strings. There just so happen to be 5 sets of 2 strings adjacent on the guitar, so this is all going to work out really, really well mathematically. So let's just review our 5 sort of 4-note boxes. The first one looks like this. So that's a minor third on the lower string, whole step on the higher string. I would call that asymmetrical. The next string set, right, starting on the A string, has a symmetrical box of 2 whole steps. The next string set that starts on the D also has a box that is symmetrical and has 2 whole steps. The string set that starts on the G string has another asymmetrical shape with a whole step on the bottom and a minor third on the top. And then our last string set, which starts on B, is another symmetrical pattern of 2 minor thirds. So here are our 5 boxes. So we've got our boxes set. Now I just want to show you 3 methods by which you can take these boxes and sort of move them around and get yourself into discovery mode, right? Start seeing things differently on the neck using information that you already have. Let's just take our first box, and the task at hand is let's find that box on each one of the sets of 2 strings. Pretty simple. Let's just analyze the box for a second. Minor third on the bottom, whole step on the top, and it starts on the note A. So we've got that string set done. Let's just find an A on the A string. There it is. This is our next string set. Just put the same exact pattern there. Let's find an A on the D string. Put the same pattern down. A on the G string. Same pattern. Watch out though, because the B string is here. So we've had to move these notes up a half step because the B string is tuned down, right? A on the G string. Put the pattern down. Watch the B string. Last string set starts on B. Here's an A on the B string. Put the pattern down. So our exploration is complete on this task. Watch this. So that's one of the boxes on each set of strings. So we're moving the scale around. We're not looking at positions. We're not necessarily looking at the scale as a holistic scale, but we're just looking at these little chunks and these patterns and we're watching them move around the neck. Obviously, the task at hand is to do that with all 5 of the boxes. I'm going to tab that out, but I just want to sort of go to the other side of the scale and do the same thing with the high box, the box that starts on the B string, just to give you an example of how it works with a symmetrical pattern. So this is our sort of fifth pattern. Starts on the B string and is 2 minor thirds. A minor third on the low string, minor third on the high string. Starts on an E note. So now let's just find that E note on each one of the string sets. Here's E on the first string set. Just put the pattern down. E on the A string, put the pattern down. E on the D string, just put the pattern down. E on the G string, put the pattern down, but watch that B string. Same pattern, it's just sheared up because of that B string. But it's still 2 minor thirds, right? Just spending a little extra time there because you got to move, you got to sort of, angle for that B string. The last string set is the B, and that's the one we started on. Right? So you get the idea. Obviously the task is to do the rest of those boxes. But now I want to give you 2 more methods by which to use these boxes in this same way. We're just trying to look around and see how they move, right? What we're going to do now is take each one of the boxes and we're going to see which string set it occurs on in the next position of the scale. So let's just review the positions here. We've got this one that we've been working on. The next position of the minor pentatonic scale looks like this. So let's find the boxes in this next position, right? Might be something we've never done before. Okay, the first box starts on an A note. In this position, the A note is here. So it switches to this string set. The next box is symmetrical, 2 whole steps. Starts on a D note. In this position, the D note is here. The next box on the next set of strings is also a symmetrical pattern of 2 whole steps. Starts on a G note. The G note on this position is here. So this pattern now jumps to the B string set. The next pattern starts on the G string. Asymmetrical. It's got a whole step on the bottom and a minor third on the top. It starts on a C note. In this position, the C note is here. And since the pattern originally included the B string, we have to move the notes on the second string down. The last box, parallel minor thirds, symmetrical box, starts on the E note. In this position, our E note is right here. So now we've just taken each one of these and just watched how they transpose into the next position. Pretty cool. Obviously what you want to do is do that same thing through all 5 positions for the scale. And I've tabbed that out, but what I want to show you right now is one last way to look at these chunks, and that is linearly across a single set of strings. Now I've done a video on this in the past, so I'm just going to blast through this a little bit, but I just want to show you the pattern that they create. So now just watch how these extend linearly on a single set of strings. We start with this one, asymmetrical with the minor third on the bottom. That one is always followed by the other asymmetrical pattern with the whole step on the bottom. When you play these linearly across any set of strings, those 2 patterns always follow each other. All we have left now is the 3 symmetrical patterns, whole steps, minor thirds, and whole steps. Check this out. Those are your whole steps, there's your minor thirds, and there's your other set of whole steps. Then you're back to where you started. That pattern remains the same for every single string set. So I'm just going to do another string set and show you. So now we're going to start on this next pattern. This is our symmetrical whole step pattern. That starts our little series of all symmetrical patterns. So we got the whole steps, minor thirds, whole steps. After we get done with those, it's the two asymmetrical patterns. Minor third on the bottom, whole step on the bottom, and then we're back. Every single string set works exactly like that. Of course, when you get to that one with the B string in it, you got to watch out because that thing is tuned down. So you got to shear the pattern back and forth when you move across the string sets. It's that simple. The cool thing about this is that we're taking something we already know and we're using it in a slightly different way. Hopefully, at least one of these methods is new to you. And when you do this thing, right, when you put yourself in a discovery mode, you're gathering new information, right? You're open and you're gaining new knowledge. And this is a great method to do it. Okay, there it is. We've just chopped up the pentatonic scale into these 4-note boxes. That was probably pretty familiar. Maybe the linear view of it, you've already studied that, but maybe there's some other methods in there that we use today that are interesting, like hopping across those string sets, right? And watching, finding the root of that pattern and finding out where it goes, right? Just that kind of exploration gets you more familiar with the neck, right? And fretboard familiarity is good, right? Because it turns into knowledge, right? Oh, I already know that. I've been there before. I've done that before. I've tabbed all this stuff out. All of the linear examples, hopping across string sets, I've tabbed it all out. Those tabs are on Patreon. Head on over there if you'd like to grab the tabs. And if you do decide to support the channel, let me thank you in advance. One of the best methods for gaining new knowledge is to use the knowledge you already have in a brand new way, right? Sort of get yourself into a discovery mode. And when you're in a discovery mode, right? I've never done this before, and now I'm doing it. You're in a learning cycle, right? It's important to just stick yourself into those cycles. I hope this helps. I hope you found it interesting, and I'll see you next time.